Sai Ram. Let me take you back to the February of 1967 to the city of Cuttack in the state of Odisha, today called Odisha, in India. A 25-year-old lad who went by the name Bejoy Kumar Misra was embarking on an adventure that could either be considered as utterly foolish or extremely brave, depending on one's perspective. He who had not travelled more than even 30 kilometres at a stretch by the railways was about to embark on a journey of 1300 kilometres from Cuttack to Vijayawada, from there to Guntur, from there to Guntakal, from there to Dharmavaram, from there to Bhukkapatnam and finally to Puttaparthi in order to see and possibly get an interview with Bhagawan Shri Sathya Sai Baba. And he had set out on this adventure with just 10 rupees in his pocket. Back then, times were easier and a rupee had much greater value than it has today. But even by those time standards, 10 rupees was nothing much. And he had only that much because he was running away from his home without telling anybody, because he feared that his family members might stop him from doing this. That is why I say either brave or foolish. Now, Bejoy Kumar Misra was born in 1943 as the eldest son in a family of 9 children, 7 brothers and 2 sisters. And he read books, he gobbled books, he devoured books by the dozen. And the subject was always spiritual. He followed the works of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Swami Vivekananda, Swami Shivananda, and of course, the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita was his daily companion, his eternal companion. He would read the Bhagavad Gita daily. He was convinced that the purpose of life is something much beyond the worldly and the mundane. But then he did not know how to achieve that spiritual goal and who would help him achieve it. He was in search of a guru or a master. And that is when he came across an article in the Illustrated Weekly of India, a very prestigious magazine back then. There was an article written by Mr. Sundar Rao. This Mr. Sundar Rao later also became the warden of the Brindavan campus of Swami's college. He wrote in depth about Swami's philosophy and Swami's works. And just reading that, Bejoy felt a strange kind of attraction. And then of course, he beheld that form in orange robe with that curly mop of hair, and again he felt a kind of strange attraction. This was a guru the likes of which he had never seen or heard of before, and he was very attracted, and that is why he had decided to embark on this journey. But dear brothers and sisters, here is one more point that I have not mentioned so far. You see, when Bejoy Kumar Misra was born, he was born with poliomyelitis, a debilitating and dreadful disease back in those times. He had waged a terrible war against this disease and ultimately had come out successful. But in the course of his war, he had lost a few battles, because of which one of his legs, his left leg, was badly afflicted with polio. It just hung limp. And he could not move around anywhere without the help of crutches. So, adding to the danger of the journey, the foolhardiness of the journey, was this fact that he was handicapped. He had this disability and he had run away from home with just 10 rupees in his pocket on crutches. But then, whatever step you might take along with crutches, as long as it is in the direction of God, it can never be a false step. It can never be a wrong step. We can never do wrong by moving towards God. And that was the amazing discovery that Bejoy was going to make. As Bejoy Kumar Misra embarked on the first leg of this 1300 kilometer journey, this is the longest leg from Cuttack to Vijayawada, he wondered how he would face the ticket collector because he didn't have enough money to buy a ticket. that 10 rupees would be enough for his sustenance for God knows how long. In fact, when Bejoy had crossed the threshold of his home, he had taken a vow that he would never cross back the threshold. He would not come back because he was going to become a sannyasi, a renunciant. He would give up everything in his quest for God. It is with that determination he had set out. So that 10 rupees was all that he had. When the ticket collector came to him and asked for his ticket, spontaneously something from within prompted Bejoy to say that my ticket is with my father who is traveling along with me. And the ticket collector agreed to check the ticket from his father. Well, his earthly father was not traveling with him. But then his divine father was with him every moment of his journey, because the ticket collector never came back again to tell him that there was no father who didn't show a ticket. And that was the last time he met a ticket collector, because he travelled from Vijayanagar to Guntur, as I said, from Guntur to Guntakal, from Guntakal to Dharmavaram. It was quite late, and from there he did not know how to proceed. He was told that he had to take a bus to go to Bukapatnam, and from Bukapatnam he could reach Puttaparthi. He reached late in the night, around 8 p.m. Back in those days, 8 p.m. is very late. There are no street lights, nothing. It's completely dark. He reached Bukapatnam and he still had 5 or 6 more kilometers to travel before reaching Puttaparthi. What would he do? He had no idea. Again, another stranger meets him and asks him whether he is going to see Sai Baba, Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. He says yes. So he says, come, here is a temple, let us sleep in this temple. And tomorrow we can go to Puttaparthi via a bullock cart. Oh, okay. So he goes to the temple, spends the night in the temple, and the next day morning, this gentleman arranges for the bullock cart, pays for the bullock cart, and that is how Bejoy Kumar Misra finally on the 17th of February 1967 arrived at Prasanthi Nilayam in Puttaparthi. He had his morning ablutions in the Chitravati river and then arrived to the mandir for darshan. And the first darshan itself, in his heart, Bejoy knew that this is my Lord, this is my Guru. He was just convinced. His breath was taken away, his heart sped and started beating so fast. His eyes opened up wide to drink in that beautiful form. There were hardly few hundreds of people, and yet Bejoy did not get his dream interview that he hoped for. Every day he would eat in the South Indian canteen where an entire meal could be procured for 1 rupee. But then as days passed, he was wondering how will he get through. His 10 rupees was fast getting over. That is when another gentleman by the name Mr. Shriram Jaiswal met him. He said that he had come from Lucknow and he somehow developed a liking for Bejoy, and therefore every day he would invite him for meals, and many of the meals Bejoy had along with this wonderful family. He was grateful to them, but after a certain point he felt that it was not good to build up such a debt like this when he has come in order to give up everything and seek God and God alone. And so in his heart he said, Swami, I have come for you and you alone. I can't take favors from anybody else. You will sustain me. And with that determination, he stopped accepting favors even from this gentleman, and soon he ran out of money and he would not know where his next meal would come from. It was the 22nd of February, 5 days had passed, and this was his condition. And exactly on the 22nd of February, Swami comes up to Bejoy and tells him, I will speak to you during the bhajans. So during that bhajan session, as promised, Swami called him for an interview. And that interview turned out to be such a magnificent game changer for Bejoy. Come to think of it, dear brothers and sisters, if we are suffering from a debilitating disability like a polio-stricken leg, wouldn't that be one of the first things we bring it up when we get a chance to come face to face with God, a being so powerful that any miracle is possible? But that was not the case with Bejoy. In fact, he did not ask anything at all. He was just dumbstruck as Swami revealed to him different aspects of his life that nobody else knew. He does not remember much of what Swami told him, except for the fact that Swami gave him a warm hug and patted him on his back. That warm hug and pat, even to this day, he feels it in every pore of his body and feels goose flesh erupting all over his skin. And then Swami told him, "I will always be with you." And he felt, this is all that I need. This is all that I need. I don't want anything else from Swami. I want to dedicate my life for Swami. I want to spend my life for Swami. I want to live my life for Swami. That was the determination that arose in his heart. Swami then waved his hand and materialized a medallion. This was a medallion on which there was Lord Vishnu lying on the Adishesha. And Swami told him to do Abhishekam, meaning washing it with water daily with prayers, and then drinking that water as tirtham. Swami told him to do it for 15 days. And then Swami said to keep that talisman, that medallion, always with him. It stayed with him for 2 years, after which it broke and it was lost. During the course of the interview, Bejoy Kumar Misra also had a change of heart. He felt deep within that what he was doing is not right. It was not right being the eldest son, abandoning his family, running away from responsibilities and duties in the name of seeking God. He felt that he had to achieve his God by working for God. Many years later, Swami would reinforce the same message. In 1976 in Ooty, Swami materialized a medallion. And when he showed the map of India and his future plans, he said to the students who had gathered there that I don't want you to become Vivekanandas and Brahmanandas. You need not become renunciants. Lead your life normally and I will utilize you to achieve what needs to be achieved. Well, that beautiful episode has been captured in a separate video, which is at this link above. You can watch that. See, this is the amazing miracle of transformation that Swami brings about. Swami tells, he has told umpteen number of times, that all these other things that we consider as miracles, cures, materializations, they are all mere calling cards. His greatest miracle is the transformation of the heart. That is Swami's greatest miracle. There's an entire video on that aspect. What is Swami's greatest miracle? You can have a look at it at this link above. It will also be there in the description section of this video. So that was the miracle that Bejoy Kumar Misra also experienced, and he decided that he should go back home. He should in fact tell his parents. They would have been so worried, right? He decided that as soon as his interview gets over, the first thing that he would do is write a postcard and send it to his parents to let them know that he was fine and safe and where he was, all of these details. But what to do now? How to go back home? He didn't have enough money, and he quickly calculated that he needed about 35 rupees. So he said, Swami, I need money to get back home. And Swami said, don't worry, I will send you money. The interview got over along with the bhajans. It was noon time to go for lunch. As he was going, somebody comes, pats him on his shoulder and says, Swami gave this envelope to be given to you. And he opened that envelope and he saw there were 33 rupees. 3 10-rupee notes, 1 2-rupee note and 1 1-rupee note. And he wondered, oh God, Swami knows everything and yet he gave only 33. I need 2 more rupees to get back home. Why did Swami give me 2 rupees less? What is the mystery of this missing 2 rupees? Now that mystery will have to wait for the second part, along with the beautiful story of how Mr. Bejoy Kumar Misra became a teacher in Swami's higher secondary school. In the meanwhile, dear Swami, grateful to you for having given us so many examples and inspiration to emulate. May we always work for you. May we live our lives for you. And may the love that we have for you in our hearts keep growing stronger every passing moment. Thank you. Jai Sai Ram.